I'm going to give my, I guess, first day reaction, because this movie, Harriet, seems like it's going to have us talking for a long time. And I know Teresa's mad because the movie Black and Blue didn't really create much of a conversation, even though it should have, and I enjoyed that movie too. But Harriet was getting hated on from the moment they cast the young lady, Cynthia Erivo, for the role of Harriet. And then that she addressed it. The director came out, the black woman who had directed it came out and said something, and it still festered, right? And then when the movie was about to drop and people saw a little bit of it, they were like, oh, there's a love interest, there's a white love interest, there's a white savior, there's a black villain, you know, don't see it now. This is what Hollywood does to us. You know, no slave movies. Teresa's right. Snoop Dogg is right. And I heard my mentor, Dr. Jeffries, say he enjoyed it. So that to me was like, oh snap, maybe there's more to it. You know what I'm saying? And so I went ahead and saw it. I saw it yesterday. Took my whole family. I ain't got time for that. Harriet Tubman is the closest we have to a superhero in real life. Black, white, Indian, Asian, you name it. She is a superhero. Basically because she went into the worst experience in human history and repeatedly conquered that. She went into slavery in the South as an African American and a small person, you know, the size of Wolverine, right? And went into the South and rescued plenty of African people, you know, African captives. So I'm going to see that. Matter of fact, I want to see if they mess it up. I want to see how they mess it up. But I had already thought, let's see. So I'm going to address a whole lot of spoilers in here because, first of all, if you're new to the Harriet Tubman story and you're older than 10 years old, shame on you. You should have learned about Harriet Tubman before you got out of elementary school. Facts. Black, white, any kind of American, that's what you should have learned. If you didn't learn it, you wasn't paying attention, because I taught in middle school, so I knew what you were supposed to know by the time you got to the 6th grade. So shame on you, shame on your parents, shame on your public school system, because Harriet Tubman is an American hero, okay? So now, that said, this story shouldn't be new. The woman lived to 91 years old. I'm going into the movie like, first of all, she didn't get killed. She died of natural causes. So there's no way they're going to kill her in the movie, because if they killed her in the movie, then that would be a lie. All right? So this love interest that everybody says is mostly because Harriet Tubman was probably would be considered today a religious fanatic. Okay, a Christian religious fanatic, and all praises due. She was having premonitions in her life. They put that in the movie. That's facts. That ain't no exaggeration. That's no transition. So now, moving past that, accepting that she's a really heavy religious person on the level of calling herself Moses. They didn't call her that. She called herself that. She's saying, go down Moses, all right? Lady Moses. They didn't know it was a lady. They just thought it was a dude. So, calling yourself Moses, and Moses himself, if you know anything about the Bible, Moses was a fanatic, okay? He was not your regular person. He's talking about God and Jesus. I mean, not God. I mean, not Jesus, but God all the time. So that's what Harriet was doing. She was praying. She gave probably some hard prayers. Oh Lord, this, please take. You know, for us that's non-Christians, right? You know, we see these people. We be like, oh my God, she probably was speaking in tongues. You understand? She was an extreme Christian revolutionary. She did something that only a crazy person would do. And she did it repeatedly. So she, to her credit, to religion credit, we always look at Christianity as softening up black people now. Yeah, well, that's now. That's post Jim Crow, you know what I'm saying? You know, back in those days, we had the African Methodist Episcopal Church, you know, started early in the 1900s. And we was clear we was African. Nowadays, our churches be like, why are you wearing that African stuff in our church? So, yeah, the church has changed. But in the time of Harriet, during the time of slavery, Nat Turner was an extreme Christian. Frederick Douglass was extreme Christian. You understand? We had a whole lot of revolutionaries that was bound to Christianity. So now for her, she probably did have a premonition to let this white plantation owner live to see a brutal death later. Now, maybe she even got in the Union Army and came back and led a stampede of his very plantation. I can see her doing that because she was very deliberate with her rescues. She rescued anybody that was coming along, but she was like, I'm going back for my parents. I don't care if it's 600 miles. I'm going back for my sister. I'm going back for my family. So I can see her saying, all right, now I'm going back to, I'm in the Army. We're going to march on this part of Maryland right here. Oh, no, we're going off to the east a little bit. I got to take care of something. And she going to stomp them out and say, see, I told you. But again, that's my version of the story. I just accept that she didn't kill him in the movie. And I can accept that he had a love affair with her. But that didn't mean she had a love affair with him. Come on now. She an athletic Simone Biles, Serena Williams type person. That's why I didn't mind Homegirl being cast. Now, let me roll into that, because I kind of, I just want to show you, first of all, there was no love interest. She was an ultra-Christian, so maybe that's why she waited for him to get killed later. I also think that also explains why she may have not talked about the people that she had to kill. I'm a very shallow person right now. I haven't killed any white people, okay? Any white plantation owners, any white oppressors. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't know what I would feel if I had to do all of that. Maybe she just had a value for human life, and although she had to do it, she wasn't proud of it. So she may not have mentioned it. But there's no way you're going to get me to believe that she went back and forth as many times as she did and never had to snuff no white person out. No white plantation owner, you know what I'm saying? So that's trash, but I can understand why she didn't mention it, because she reminded me of my mother and my grandmother. You may not have never met my mother, you may not have met my grandmother, but my mother was no joke and a small woman. She was not scared of Jack, you understand? And my grandmother was even tougher than her. And both of them was fit. My grandmother was fit. My mother was fit all the way until she died. You understand? So both of them until they died, and stress took them out. I'm a very intense person because of my mother and my father. So yeah, my mom was intense. All right. So now, why do I have not a problem with this Nigerian British actress playing Harriet Tubman? Well, first of all, when I went to Ghana, and I started talking to the young brothers, because I'm a socializer. So when I go on tours, I don't care where I'm going, whether it's the pyramids, whether it's the dungeons in Ghana, I'm going to sneak a side conversation with the tour guide. So, what y'all know, what did they teach y'all about African Americans? And, this cat did a whole presentation on the fact that they didn't learn about what was going on with us. And they still don't learn it that much. So for me, having Lapita play 12 Years a Slave and have Homegirl, Cynthia play Harriet, I ain't upset. You understand? I'm not upset because, first of all, we all African. Harriet Tubman never called herself Black African American or N-word, right? She was straight up knew. She called herself a member of the Ashanti tribe. Okay, they didn't put that in the movie, but she knew she was from Africa. Okay, and a lot of our slave ancestors who were enslaved were clear on that. They were as clear as Kunta Kinte. Okay, and they all admired those that was coming there fresh from the motherland. All right, so Harriet Tubman was just that clear. Now, so if you have a Nigerian sister playing it in America, it's going to make headlines in Nigeria. They're going to want to see the movie. You know what I'm saying? And so if they see a movie about our sister Harriet Tubman, then they may understand a little bit better of why we are the way we are. You understand? And I don't know, you know, I saw her text. I forgot, you know, who she was texting or tweets, and she was saying Akata, whatever, and the N-word is similar to Akata, right? It means lowly, whatever. And I understand that. I mean, we got black people that use the N-word, and we don't stop them from being in movies. And they stand up even for white people using the movies. I mean, the N-word. So I think, you know, I would like to see her interview with her now. I would like to see if she's learned a little bit from the movie and has a better idea of our experience. So I think that's cool. And I think I would love to see, like they did the Black Panther, show the premieres of Harriet in Nigeria, in Ghana, because it's not going to just screen in Nigeria, but Nigeria is the country that has the most Africans outside of South Africa, and it's a very modern country. It's got 5 cities as large as New York, so Nigeria ain't no joke. So for her to be a part of the film and from Nigeria, I think it's a good thing. All right. Next, they talk about this black dude that was the tracker, right? And they got a black person hunting down Harriet. Well, I'm saying to myself, anybody that knew the history of Harriet Tubman knows good and well she didn't get caught and she didn't get killed. So whoever this tracker in my mind was, when I saw him, was going to be unsuccessful. So that's exactly what happened to him. He was unsuccessful. And in the reality of scope of things, I don't know. I'm not willing to say that there weren't Samuel Jackson type characters from Django in Maryland or in the East, in the southern states, that were so confused that they joined in the search for escaped Africans. I'm not willing to say that. And even, you know, so for them to have that energy in the film is, you know, whatever the conspiracy is, until we find out research, because we're going to find out in the next couple of weeks whether there were black people that helped track down runaway Africans, escaped slaves, right? So if escaped enslaved, that's the better way. So let's see, okay? We'll find that out. But needless to say, she had a hit on her, or Moses had a hit on him, because they thought she was a man in real life for the whole state of Maryland. Okay, it's just like they portrayed in the movie. She was stealing their property. Plantation owners were going under because they was losing half of their workforce, half of their valued, kidnapped, tortured Africans, and she was the one that was doing it. So they were all out, and even in the real life, man, she was so crafty. It was like John Dillinger. You know, you ever seen John Dillinger? He would walk into, he was notorious for sneaking in a police station and taking his wanted poster and talking to police officers about catching him. I believe Harriet Tubman did the very same thing, not to mention she already told stories, they didn't have it in the movie, of how she would dress up as field hands and walk onto different plantation owners' plantations and recruits runaways right underneath their whip. You understand? They didn't know who she was, so they didn't know what they were looking for, and she's walking right by them. Now, I would have loved to have had a scene like that in the movie. No joke. You know, that would have been amazing. So, for them to be frustrated, she jerked all of them. She probably, there's no way I have a sense of humor now. I didn't just get it. It might have been oppressed for a while, but I'm pretty sure when she got to Philadelphia, they was cracking up juices and water and laughing about how she tricked this white person. And probably William Still, he probably was like, oh, don't laugh too much, Harriet. I'm happy you make it back. But dang, you know, and they had to have been joking. So, because it's funny, you know what I'm saying? It's got to be funny. You clowning them and you rescuing our people. Yeah, you intense. You intense, no joke. I've been in marches. You understand what I'm saying? I've been in behind the doors. You know, some of our best civil rights leaders got sense of humor. Malcolm cracked jokes. You understand what I'm saying? So, yeah, you know, you got to do it. You got to stay sane. So anyway, yeah, she has some humor in her, and I would have loved to have heard her crack jokes. You know what I'm saying? But I know I'm going to channel her spirit when I make my movie. And when I make my movie, it's going to start with one of her staffs in the mouth of a white person talking about, not a white person, a white plantation on his mouth and banging it in his head. You know what I'm saying? I also feel like this. I'm going to close with this because I'm going over time. But I do believe that because of the harsh experiences and things that they saw, people getting whipped, women getting babies cut out of them and hands cut off and legs cut off, feet so they wouldn't run, that any escaped African was already desensitized to brutal violence, and I don't have a problem with them inflicting that brutal violence that they witnessed and experienced and endured on the people that oppressed them. Now, I also believe, this is a Jeff Carroll story, that if there was a serial killer African during the time of slavery, it's excused. You know what I'm saying? They were like, he went crazy. No, he didn't go crazy. He went liberating, and he went and killed plantation owners. He killed their children. He killed their wives, and none of that is crazy. So I'm just going to go on with that. Hopefully we got this out of the way, historically accurate version of Harriet Tubman, so that way when my version of Harriet Tubman comes out and she's going straight Braveheart, you know what I'm saying, Sarah Connor with a Terminator with her, you know what I'm saying, people will go and see it for the entertainment of it and stop worrying about historical accuracy, because my story is going to be total embellishment for total entertainment. You understand? I'm doing straight Jewish film on Nazis. You know how they clown Hitler and they barely escaped? You know, they had a whole army escape. They ain't had no Harriet Tubman, but they go back and they be beating up Nazis in the movies. They be having Nazis look stupid. Well, that's the way I want to do a Harriet Tubman story. I want to have slave plantation owners tap dancing, eating watermelon, getting smacked all around. I deserve it. My ancestors deserve it. Good night, y'all. Peace. I'm out.